What's up? Don't forget to follow, subscribe, join the Dreams Amino. I'm Young Text YouTube in Dreams, Young Text on YouTube, Young Text on Twitch. Follow there and join the Dreams Amino. Check out my channel playlist for individual tutorials on logic, sculpting, animation, music, and more. So today we're going to be talking about how you can effectively make bosses in Dreams Ps4. The best thing to remember whenever you're making bosses is to make each segment unique. So that way the player isn't just doing the same thing over and over again. If that's the case, I recommend making that a easy boss fight that ends quickly if the boss isn't going to have that much to it, if that makes sense. So let's just jump into this new one, and this is my game Polybius. I've been showing it off on my channel. Another reason to hit the bell, subscribe, all that great stuff. I'm just going to hit edit so that way I can jump right into the boss fight, where the logic is. And I guess I'll just show you guys the logic first, since that's what you came here for. And then I'm going to show you the first boss. This is technically the second boss in the game. So let me press play real quick. I should get everything started. Now this right here is just this usually wouldn't happen like this, so bear with me. Okay, so this is the boss. He's got several different attacks. Now, this might be one of the most incredible boss fights you've seen in Dreams. It might not be. It's fast. In my game, you have to see things, or in certain levels, use your weapon, like this level right here. This is technically a secret boss. And he is a CEO. So Polybius is a game about the game industry. It's also a game about Polybius and brainwashing, and pretty much this game talks about side effects of the game industry, what the game industry does that's bad, and what they do that's good. So it's just kind of to help people think on their own. That's what this game is trying to accomplish. And I'm heavily inspired by the creator of Undertale, so if that makes sense of what kind of storytelling I would say is actually a darker game, nonetheless. So you'll notice this boss fight has 3 different attacks, while his HP is higher, if that makes sense. But whenever his HP gets lower, I'm going to have a segment of more attacks happening, if that makes sense. Because even though this is a lot of attacks already, it's not that much going for it. And this probably looks like a lot of logic. It's not. I'm about to explain it so quick, because really all it is a dang selector and a few timers, and then a timeline that starts up the attacks and animations. That's all it is. All you need to do is, whenever your boss fight is ready to happen, have this on switch turn on. What this on switch turns on is a timer. Timer finished, put that into restart. Make this as long as you need. This is as long as I have mine, if you like my settings. If you want to lower, this is like basically the AI thinking speed, the timer. So the lower it is, the faster he is going to be able to switch through attacks. So another trick you could do is just have the attacks go faster. So as he loses HP, you could have a keyframe lower this. So what you would do is, whatever your health is, if current health, pull out a calculator, is less than whatever you want the amount to be in the B side down here, you press less than, then result into a keyframe that lowers this, and that will make the AI thinking speed faster. That's one trick you can do. Pull out a selector, put timer finished into move to next, and put the on switch into the power of the selector also, as well as the timer. On this side, put your attack. So this is the attack list of section 1. If attacks are not happening, so these are what the not gates are for. If the timer isn't sending a signal to make the attacks happen, then the not gates are sending a signal to a AND gate. And make sure this on switch is in the B of the AND gate. And what this does is turns on a trigger zone. And what this trigger zone does is starts up another timer. And this timer is the electric fence shield thing. That's what this is. So whenever the timer is finished and whenever no attacks are happening from the selector, it will make this emit. You can use my settings if you want to do something like this for your game. And it also turns on the force applier. That'll push our character away. Make sure you have these settings right here. Whatever the label is for your main character, these settings right here. And then if the force apply actually is applying the force, what it will do is it should applying force, turn on a health modifier, looking for our player tag right here. And for me, losing HP is gaining HP, but for you it'll be losing HP. So make sure it's in the negatives up here. And you can do stuff like that also. Then timer finished is into start timer of a timer that's, pull out another timer. That's what I'm trying to say. And put this timer into start. And then when timer finish, reset, timer finish, also reset the first one that makes your electric fence happen, or whatever your barricade you're going to use if you want to do something like this. I don't believe this is doing anything. I had to put this in here to make the fence larger, so you don't need anything like that unless you want something like that. Timer finish also makes a sound effect happen. So if you want attacks happening while your attacks are not happening from the selector, this is a way you could do it. The selector's A is inside of a timeline. Inside of this timeline, make sure your timeline is set to once. Or I guess you can put it on sustain actually. I have mine on sustain, but I recommend just putting it on once, if that makes sense. You shouldn't have to put it on sustain. So I'm trying to find the first attack. The first attack should be in the B. So A should have no attacks in it. B is where the attacks start happening. So this is our first attack. So make sure your selector's A has no attacks or anything. Otherwise your boss is going to start off punching or whatever. Put your animations, kick animations, whatever it is up here, and then make sure that there is a timeline at the bottom that turns off your procedural walk and stuff inside of this. You might have to press L1 and X a few times to get to it. Make sure a keyframe is turning this stuff off, this and this, if there's going to be animations that make the limbs of your character move. So what you would effectively do is go here, here, pull out a keyframe, stretch it out throughout the duration of the whole timeline, and then just have this turn off. Not on keep changes. Do not put this on keep changes. For me, I have something that is making our boss teleport to the center, if that makes sense. And it's also moving our character with telekinesis to this tag right here. So you can see I'm just like really getting innovative with each attack, making each attack different and more powerful as things go on, if that makes sense. So he's moving the character right over there. There's a keyframe in here that turns on a follower, and the envelope is right here. So if you want to like make things fade in, move that dot to the side or move the N one to the right or left, sorry. And this keyframe, not on keep changes, is turning on a follower in our player. And this is how I did the telekinesis thing. And the dot should be like somewhere, you saw it, just place it somewhere in the sky, unison with where the bad guy is, but distant from him. This dot right here. And as long as there's some kind of look at rotator thing turning towards the player, he should instantly turn to push the player to the side. And then at the end of that, there's an emitter that emits the blue thing, and this right here, there's a force applier connected to the swirl, as well as if you get close enough to the swirl like this, there's a health modifier that will make our main character lose health, and the force applier pulls him in. So you just got to get, like, you know, innovative with these timelines. And then whenever this timer thinking speed, the AI thinking speed is ready to go again, it'll switch to the next attack. The next attack is C. And what C is the kick that kicks you into the air. You'll see the animations right here. Follower, that's what's making our bad guy boss go towards the player. Then a follower, what makes him fly is that we only have the Y up, so that's whenever he jumps into the sky. And then there's force applier, so whenever you're in the sky, if you're too close to the boss, then it'll push you, kick you downward. If he hits you with his foot and you're too close, that's what sends you upward with this force applier, with directional. And this one on directional, kicking you back down. The animations are just the animations, and then there should be an emitter turning on somewhere that is that effect, that angel wing type effect. And then if your health was to get low enough, all you would have to do, current health, do the calculator method, result. What you would do is make it to where this turns off. What I would actually recommend doing instead of that, pull out some nodes, right? So whatever's in the B connected to the node, and you can connect the NOT gates to a node for each thing that, you know, correlates with the NOT gates if you want to. But then what you would do is current health, or calculator current health, whenever everything is low enough, result into that power, that keyframe, turns off this selector's power, or if that doesn't work for you, turns off the node's power, and then turns on a new selector with a different list of attacks. And that would be how you would make the attacks go stronger as you lose health. And this is a way to do that. From there, you just have to think of boss attacks, and you can do that however you want to. Just look up games, have good ideas, and you should be able to make your bosses very creative. Like I said, you just don't want the attacks to be the same thing over and over again. Otherwise, it gets really tedious, and it's like, let's get this over with, you know what I'm saying? So, this is how I make bosses, at least. It's a very good method. This is the angel wing attack I was talking about. It can kill in one hit if you hit the ground wrong, if that makes sense. But so that's that boss. I'm gonna close out without saving. Then the first boss I ever made, if we just click on the game Polybius and go here. The first boss is a statue that holds like a giant rusty blade. It's a rusty blade, not a knife. There's an enemy that has a knife. And you might notice the changes that I've made recently to this stage. It's a lot better. It's just looks better than how it first was, and I'm great with that. It feels like Polybius. It feels like Polybius. I got rid of a lot of glitches also whenever you're hitting the walls, so this should be a near glitch-free game. There's like only one glitch that I found, and it's really easy to fix. It's when you're fighting the boss, and I'll fix that later. It's not something that's gonna break the game, if you know what I mean. This is just to get you used to the game. Enemies, personally, like the enemies using the boss. And you use the tape to edit footage, and that's how you would like defeat enemies, you know what I'm saying? Even bosses lose like that. Really interesting concepts. You can see things that aren't there, solve puzzles. Gonna do more with that solving puzzle mechanic. It's really cool. I mean, some cool crap right here. Then once you get the tape and defeat that guy, come back in here, press this, you get to fight the boss. So this would be the first boss of my game, Polybius. Much updated from the first versions you may have seen. Music is also important for making bosses. Remember, you don't want crappy music. Music that fits. I could pick better music for my second boss fight. I know the first one's really good. It's a really good score. The second one could be updated. And I'm not gonna like show you how to make this boss. You can look up one of my videos that shows you how to do this kind of movement for characters. If you want to know that, where he like follows you instead of like spins with you, if that makes sense. I already have that video up. I'll probably have the tutorial eventually up there on the top right of the screen. Click it, so if that interests you. There's some things that I did, but the logic for this first boss fight is crazy. It was the first thing, one of the first things that I've made in Dream, so it'd be best if I didn't show it to you because it's not confusing. Whereas the second one, but you know, I got it done. I kept on messing with it until I finally learned all this stuff, which is crazy, I know. So you're seeing a lot of stuff. It's pretty intense. So the more attacks start happening, the more you progress through the boss fight, and that's the kind of thing you're gonna want to do with the game. Like new attacks happen with each. Every time you do enough damage, and that's what's happening here. Now you can throw his blade, throw something at you, you know what I'm saying, and stuff falling from the sky. Interesting stuff. You know? Really, that's the only thing that happens whenever you start blowing up the second time, or you know what I'm saying. That right there. You get his health low enough the third time, which is the last part of the boss fight, that really attack that really flares everything out. And I really am happy that I added that, as well as the skulls. The skulls were not doing anything. I really had to add some things to it. I know I really lacking in the beginning. I was so exhausted from finally figuring out how to do all this. So many days to figure out how to get the one. And you learning that would be important. So yeah, you can see the lightning attack. Whenever he comes back down to the ground, it's just going to keep on happening. And this would be the last part of the boss fight until you can edit the footage yet again. And learn more about your plot. because Polybius the main character's plot and telling them what's going to happen. It's really interesting. If you get hit by lightning, it'd be crazy if this boss fight was like doing damage. It's the first boss. Not getting that intense with it. And there we go. And then this door opens, and then you get to the next segment. Alright, so these are ideas for bosses. This is how you can make bosses. You can check out my how to make enemies tutorial with the laser scope. That's other ways you can do boss attacks, stuff like that. It's really fun stuff, interesting stuff here. So I hope you guys can't wait for Polybius. I've been working on it for a year. Hope you guys do enjoy this video. I might, instead of giving more Polybius gameplay, I might do tutorials with my game Polybius, so that way I'm not spoiling too much from here on out. I think that would be the best thing to do, so that way I can display the game and, you know, show you guys what's going on with it. So here we are. Peace out.